Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? This is Roosevelt. I am down here in Chicago, Illinois, at on the downtown Chicago, Illinois, as a matter of fact. And today I'm on a small remote. I'm not in my usual studio setting. I am at the Richard J. Daley Center, right down. And on today, we are going to bring some public knowledge to a story of a young lady who happens to be going through some problems due to the wicked evil Chicago politics and the wicked evil Chicago Democratic Party ran by, Chairman Johnson. You know how, anytime we say chairman, anytime it's a chairman of a communist country, they always say chairman of the Democratic People's Republic of Chicago, which all of us are under. So right now I'm going to introduce to you Miss Jessica. I'm going to get ready to tell your story as to what is going on. And welcome to the broadcast on today on Roosevelt Sounds Off.
All right, now, Roosevelt Sounds Off. We are at the Richard J. Daley Center, courthouse and office building in downtown Chicago at 50 West Washington. And we're here today as it was part of my overall probate estate issue with my property and the illegal intervention of the public administration office into this probate issue. One of the main issues that I'm fighting in this issue is the squatting of tenants in the first floor and the basement of tenants. The first floor tenants did in fact move out in September after squatting since February 2023. Today, we were here on the basement tenant, Dolitha Quinn. We were here for her eviction. And today, what happened in court was another bad faith move from the public administration that ended up hindering the eviction of the basement tenant, Miss Quinn, because of the illegal involvement of the public administration. The judge today was Judge Teresa Maria Stephen Conyers in courtroom 1408. This was another new judge. So now today, the essence was who could really evict the basement tenant, because who's in charge of the estate is not clear in the court records. My mother has the deed, so public administration does not have right of ownership by way of deed, or they do not have superior authority by way of the deed. That's already been legally determined. They do not have superior authority by way of finances because they do not pay the debts of the estate. So they do not have that. That was also determined in the eviction hearing that they're trying to do against me on June 9th, 2025. So in essence, what we're seeing today is just how the public administration is using the basement tenant as a way to harass me. They know that there's no legal grounds for her to be there. That was argued today in court by my attorney, that she's not there by way of a lease, she's not there by way of ownership, she's not there by way of any legal way. She's just there because the public administrators keep intervening on everything that I do. So the next step after this today is we have the next court date of December 2nd. They tried to push the judge tried to push for a Zoom hearing for the December 2nd court date. I objected to that and demanded an in-person hearing. What is the difference? Because this case is so document driven, that's the main thing I want people to understand. The contents of court documents. Because the contents of these court documents are distorted and prove the fraudulent actions of the courts, the probate judges, and the eviction judges, it's to my advantage to have trial in person so that the documents can be reviewed. They can be reviewed by the judge. They can be reviewed by whatever witness comes in. In a Zoom hearing, you're at the disadvantage of that. They cannot see a document. You can hold it up, but they cannot decipher what that document is. There's no guarantee that the court will recess and go look for a document, or they'll claim that a document does not exist even though you actually have it. So it's very important that the in-person hearing was done today.
So tell me, how many times have you been in court wasting your time, maybe your attorney's time, even the court's time, over something that doesn't have to be before, we met today?
I started coming into this court proceedings in 2016. Because
that's a
when my
long
mother
time. It's
passed.
9 years.
Right. 9 years.
Long
9
time.
years. I've been going through this for 9 years. Why? Because the city and the county steals property. Because this case is airtight. Because there are no loopholes. For almost 10 years now, they've been sending me through bogus court cases, bogus court hearings, bogus processes, like today, where now I'm trying to do an eviction, because when you say how many proceedings have I been in, well, I've been coming in and out of probate proceedings since 2016. Then because of the violations that I'm trying to get fixed on my property, that they intervene and won't let me do that. That started in August 2022. So I was in and out of court with that until
With different judges, right?
Every time with different judges, even within the same proceedings. Each court is keeps being different judges. Then, of course, is the eviction court. I've been starting the eviction court since 2023 until now. And then the domestic violence court from the tenant doing domestic violence against me and my daughter. That's been since 2024.
And are you still living in the same building with these people, or not saying these people, but these squatters that you are trying to evict?
Yes, I am, and that's why.
And do you feel like your life is in danger any kind of way?
Yes, it is. We already had domestic violence issues. It creates a hostile living environment. And on top of that, you have the residential landlord-tenant ordinance. That's a city and a county ordinance, where the rules are, if the unit is 6 units, if a property is 6 units or less, and if you are the landlord or owner that resides in the property, the tenants are not covered. You are exempt from all that covering that tenants have, mainly for the reason that we're talking about, because it creates an unsafe living environment. It creates a hostile living environment. Technically, these tenants are being allowed to harass me in my own property.
And what kind of situation did you have, if you can talk about it, or conflict that you have with this tenant and you and your daughter, who's absolutely, very, very lovely, should I say, by the way. What was the problem? What did they do towards the both of you all to lead to a domestic violence case?
Well, it's been several instances.
Not just one. Okay.
Dolitha has a pattern of moving people in and out of that apartment, because the public administrators have given her free will in this matter. So at one point, she had a lady down there with her name Latasha. I'm not sure what her last name was. I know it started with a C, I think, but her name was Latasha. This woman was extremely mental. And anytime this woman saw me, she would pick a verbal altercation with me. That escalated all the way until she actually tried to physically attack me and my daughter. We called the police. The police came out, did a police report. We were supposed to go to 555 West Harrison. We went to 555 West Harrison.
Yeah, West Side.
Got over there, and what happened? Again, the wrongful involvement of the public administrators that kept intervening in that process. They kept intervening in that process, not letting it get before a judge. Then it continued, until finally, was it the assistant district attorney? When I asked about what is it going to take to get a restraining order on her and get her out my property, I was told by the state's attorney that even if I got the restraining order against Dolitha Quinn, that she would still be allowed to return to the property, to the premises, and that the only way that I could get her out is that I would have to do a formal eviction on her.
Because they always say in this country, even if somebody is a squatter, that they, as long as they didn't stay there long enough, they say legally they still have rights. I guess that's the argument.
But I never understood that anybody had the right to physically assault you.
Yeah, no one has the right to do that.
Right.
No, that's what I mean. No one has the right to do that.
About.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. That the domestic violence courts informed me that even if they did a restraining order on her, that she still would be allowed to return to the premises. And that the only way that I could get her out is that I would have to do a formal eviction on her. Okay, June 13th, 2025, I began the formal eviction process on her. And the public administration has continued to intervene in that process. They are literally using the tenants to harass me. They can't get the property legally because my mother has a will. So they cannot get it legally, so they're doing all these type of things to harass me to try to get it illegal.
Now, this morning when you and I spoke, I know that your property is located in the Jackson Park area around the southeast side of Chicago.
Right.
Now, do you think a whole lot of this thing with the public administrator and maybe them trying to say whatever and obtain your property is because of the upbuilding of the brand new Obama Presidential Library, which I do have to say, I must add that, you know, when I found out it was coming to Chicago a few years ago, I was not for, because I automatically knew this would happen in displacing residents, long-time residents who have been there for years. Do you believe there's something even political behind this, something due to the Democratic Party in the upbuilding of the Obama Presidential Library?
Oh, it's absolutely related. The Obama Library is affecting all properties in South Shore. It's aggressive gentrification. It's just like how you
or eminent domain, that's what the law says, yeah.
Yeah. For some areas, it might be eminent domain. And then in some areas, like over there by me, it wouldn't be classified as eminent domain. They're just pushing people out by taking their real estate illegally, like how they're doing with me, by letting the value of that area, the values go down so cheap, and let the developers come back and buy it up. You know, it's just a lot with gentrification. You know, the Obama Center is affected all properties over there by Jackson Park, in South Shore, especially the closer you get to the water, so over east in South Shore, and they are aggressively trying to get those properties. And yes, that's part of the reason why they are determined to try to get mine, because the Obama Center. Yes, absolutely.
And tell me, do you think that also more of this could be much more political? And let me know if I'm correct, because, you know, when I saw a clip of you on Martin G. Johnson's show, which is, you know, he's the crime chaser for all of you all, whatever, who haven't gone over and followed him and everything. I think you need to follow Martin G. Johnson, the crime chaser. You know, he always says, you know, uncut and unedited. So go over and follow his channel. Might have to do with who you aligned yourself with or who you chose to vote for, like Chicago Red or Chicago Flips Red. Do you think it's anything that has to do with that?
Well, I know that it does, but let me make it clear. it would have something to do with my affiliation with Chicago Flips Red.
Right.
Not Chicago Red.
Yeah, two different
Because
organizations.
Number one, it's two different organizations. Number two, the head of Chicago Red, which is P. Ray, her and Brandon Johnson are very close, and she supports him. Even though she's,
Claims
saying
to be,
about going red and
she's a Republican,
right,
yeah.
but she completely supports Brandon Johnson. So let me make that very clear. Chicago Flips Red is not in support of him. Now, yes, I believe the affiliation of that organization is definitely part of this current retaliation. However, this matter began in 2016 when my mother's estate first went into probate. The bad faith acts began right away, which had nothing to do with Trump, nothing to do with Chicago Flip Red. In fact, I didn't even know Zoe Lee, who's the founder of Chicago Flip Red. I didn't even know her then. I wasn't even living 100% in Chicago then. I was between Chicago and California.
Okay.
So it had nothing to do with Trump initially. It had to do with the corruption of Cook County courts and the fact that they steal real estate. Let's make that clear. Now, fast forward to now. When I first got to City Hall in 2021, looking for help, looking for assistance from the alderman, which in particular my alderman is Greg Mitchell.
Okay.
And I'm on the cusp of him and Desmond Yancey, Alderman Desmond Yancey.
Okay.
Okay, so initially I came down to City Hall looking for assistance from my alderman. Again, I didn't know Zoe Lee. It wasn't about Trump. I have no connection to him or nothing at that time. I came looking for help from the alderman and for city council, only to find that there was no help. That the Democratic Party, City Hall, which is all Democratic Party, offered no assistance to me. The only thing they kept telling me was over and over again about the things that they couldn't do, what they couldn't do, what they weren't able to do. That's the only thing that they kept telling
But yet the
me.
Democrats at least want to sit up and tell this lie about how much they care about black women. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you think that that's a fallacy right about now.
Well, I know it's a fallacy, and what I find to be even more bothersome and more troubling is to see Brandon Johnson and other public officials and Cook County officials and J.B. Pritzker himself going on and on and on about the rights and the demand to house these illegal immigrants. Where here I am, a full-fledged citizen, property owner, but they are completely turning their back on me. They have failed to assist me. In fact, they have full knowledge of the fraudulent court documents that have my mother's estate messed up to this degree, and they refuse to straighten it out. But yet, every single night, they are on the news talking about how they demand rights, housing rights for Chicago quote-unquote residents.
And housing rights for illegal migrants, more or less, not just Chicago residents.
Right, that's clearly who it's for, because I'm
'Cause it ain't for us.
in Chicago. I'm a citizen of Chicago. I'm a property owner here in Chicago, and I can't get any help from them at all. The only thing I can get is further abuse, judicial abuse, with the full knowledge of city officials and Cook County officials.
So in closing, because we know that, because I'm going to personally do my best to stay on this particular case, at least with you, because I know you have another following court date on December 2nd, which is a couple of weeks from now. In closing, what would you like the people to know in what you want and what you want completely done?
But what I want is for the public administration to get their hands off my mother's property. They have no legal grounds to be involved in this matter at all. And the fact that they continue to keep going and going and going, this issue of the waste of public funds, this issue of constant retaliation, this issue of distorted court records, that's one of the main things that I want people to understand. In these civil cases, how distorted court records, and that is on the clerk of the court, That's the reason why the clerk of the court's name is on every office in this courthouse. Because court records the guide the case, what's in records. And if the records are fraudulent, if the records are perjurious, and it's easy for judges to do that because there are no stenographers. Now in eviction, they have audio recording, so you can get a transcript from there because they have audio recording. But in probate court, for example, there's no stenographer, and there's also no audio recording. So the only thing that guides that case is what a judge or the higher state attorney writes in that order. Now, you as a citizen, you're not aware of that. Your assumption is like all of our assumptions is that it's being recorded or it's a stenographer. As citizens, we don't know. But keep in mind, these judges, these attorneys, they come into these processes having full knowledge that there is going to be no transcript, and they take that as to do all type of fraudulent acts.
And tell the people today what the judge for the second court hearing, at least on December 2nd, what she tried to do, but you fought against it.
She was trying to make it a Zoom hearing. This hearing on December 2nd is important because it will make the public administration come in here and have to declare how it is that they're involved in this estate, how they have the right to be over this tenant. And if that's the case, this tenant that's been squatting on me since February 2023, they're going to have to produce the rents collected. And those rents collected are owed to my mother's estate. And if they do not have the rents collected, then it verifies that they have illegally let her just squat on me to deprive the estate of income. They're going to have to show the rents collected from the basement tenant and the rents collected from the first floor tenants from February 2023. So today, because this is a document-driven case, what do I mean by that? The documents that the courts have done, the judges, the public administration, that's what guides this case. That's what shows the fraud. The court documents. So what they were trying to do is push it to a Zoom hearing.
To keep public eyes and public interest off of it, like it's being exposed, like about to be once I upload this video on YouTube a little bit later, and people will be able to share it and see it.
And more importantly, the judge will not be on the Zoom call, it's not guaranteed to have a document in front of that judge that I might be referring to.
It won't be that same judge.
And it is very possible it won't be the same judge. And even if it is the same judge, they will not have that document. People have to understand the importance of documents. Hard copies. All this about, I got it in my phone, I got it in my email. No, print down your hard copies. You need your documents. You need, and because sometimes in the heat of a situation, you'll see a document, but you won't even pay attention to everything that's in it. Sometimes when you go back later on and look at that document and sit down and read it, now you realize, wait a minute, if this is what this says right here, wait a minute, that's different from what this document over here says, and you're able to catch it better with documents. That's the reason why the judge did not want me to have an in-person hearing. But because I know the value of documents, and I know that in person is much harder for them to get around fraudulent documents, and we saw that today. Once my attorney actually bought out the fraudulent document that the basement tenant had found in court, it changed the dynamic of that.
Changed the whole spirit of the case.
Changed the whole spirit of the case, correct. So that's the main thing that I want everybody to know. And so come December 2nd, 2025, now the public administrator is going to have to come in that courtroom and explain these fraudulent documents. And what's even more important than that is come December 1st, remember, it's a new chief judge. Timothy Evans, remember, has got voted out in a historical vote from the associate judges, not from the ballot, from the judges voting him out. So that lets us know that there's problems in the judges' camp. There's problems in their camp. So now what we're looking for is a new thing from Charles Beach. We're going to let him know about this upon him coming onto the bench. This is a case that he will inherit. And it's going to be up to him to show, is he going to be a different type of chief judge as Timothy Evans? How Timothy Evans was corrupt sitting in there for 24 years. I know he's been corrupt on the 10 years of mine. Or is he going to be a better chief judge? If he's a better chief judge, then it stands chance of straightening out this judicial system. That will be seen in the next upcoming weeks, because his position is effective December 1st, 2025.
Okay, and of course the saga will. So you heard it directly from Miss Jessica. It's okay. Is it okay to use your last name?
Yeah,
Miss Jessica Jackson. And of course, I will be staying updated on this case. So just wanted to bring you that and bring this particular subject to public attention. And make sure you all like and share this video and share it wherever you can all over, because I think everyone needs to know about this, because what's happening to her and other residents in the South Shore area because of the upbuilding of a presidential library, or because someone chose a certain political party, I feel is horrendous. It needs to stop. So I'm on the case. So I'll probably be back down here on December 2nd, and we will come to you again. But until then, I'm going to get ready to let you all go. Be sure to like and share this video. Give this video a like. I really appreciate it. And tune in next time for the next episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Peace.
Good.